How did you become interested in these kinds of questions?
I had a really bad toothache. Why does it hurt? Why does it hurt? Well, the conventional explanation, which is true as far as it goes, your tooth is inflamed, sends electrical energy down your trigeminous nerve. It goes inside the spinal cord, is switched through a double relay all the way up to cortex. And now in your brain proper, you have some neurons that fire. What does it mean? Well, that means some potassium chloride ions sloshing around. So what? Well, I mean, why does it hurt? There are ions sloshing around my liver, and I have no conscious awareness, or my heart. There's stuff occurring all the time in my body, but I don't feel it. But somehow here, it feels so. So there's this explanatory gap, right? This is what philosophers call them. On the one hand, you have physics, you have the brain, or you have hearts and other organs. And on the other hand, you have conscious experience. And it's very unclear how do you get from one to the other. So I said, okay, this is the beating heart of the mind-body problem. And I was a physicist and a budding neuroscientist. So I said, hell, neuroscience should be able to address this, right? Because after all, it's not the heart that gives rise to pain, it's the brain. So I'm a brain scientist, so we should be able to use modern scientific techniques to understand the link between the brain and consciousness. At the time I was working with Francis Crick, the Nobel laureate who discovered the double helical structure of DNA. And he and I then popularized this notion of the neuronal footprints of consciousness, called the NCC, the neuronal correlates of consciousness, using scientific tools to track where are the footprints in your brain. Are they all over the brain? Are they just in a particular part of the brain? Are you in your spinal cord? When do we first see them?
According to this theory, there are specific mechanisms in the brain that are necessary and sufficient for a conscious experience to occur. If this could be sufficiently measured, scientists might at least be able to identify where consciousness occurs in the brain, even if we couldn't explain how.
Is consciousness simply an attribute of the material world, or does it exist somewhere else on some other plane? Do we have any way of knowing?
Materialism says all there is matter, and consciousness is, you're really confused about it. It doesn't really exist. That's what modern analytical philosophy would say. An idealist would say, well, the only thing that really exists is mental, and this entire world ultimately is a manifestation of the mental. And there's some people who say, well, both exist simultaneously. And it's like the inside and the outside. From the outside, there's this physical thing, you including your brain, but then from the inside, you feel. That's exactly the way this physical system feels, from the inside. So both exist simultaneously.
Panpsychism suggests that consciousness, the subjective experience of being aware, isn't just something that humans and some animals have. Instead, the theory goes, consciousness may be an inherent characteristic of all matter. Imagine every tiny thing in the universe has some tiny bit of consciousness. Whether you buy it or not, it's an intriguing theory.